So here we have the setup of the Cursed Empire card game. And you can see here the different categories of cards. In red, you have the character cards. That was the Imperial Knight, requesting Quaylar. Tyra Wild Elf Warrior. You'll notice that all the cards have a value in the top right hand corner, and the Wolf Druidess. In green, an action card. In blue, lasting cards. And finally, in gold, the mission cards. We then stack our battle deck, which we give a good shuffle. And we're talking about the different character card types and also the score or point value in the top right hand corner. Those are the character points, and basically when you choose a party you have to total those up to know how many victory points you need to win the game. So in the case of the party we just saw, there's 29 points you need to achieve victory in the game. Another way to win the game is if your opponent is drawn out, i.e. they can no longer draw any more cards, they lose the game. So there's two ways to win the game, either through victory points in winning missions, or in being drawn out you actually lose the game, enabling the opponent to win. One interesting game mechanic is the fact that the stronger party you have, the easier it is to achieve missions individually, but the harder it is to actually win the game, because those more powerful characters seek to complete more high-profile missions. Each player now draws a card from the top of their deck after having shuffled and compares the top right-hand corner score, +2 here on the healing card and +3 on the Unholy Warrior, which means the player at the bottom of the screen actually starts the game, and you put that card at the bottom of your deck. And this is just about getting the setup of the game going. So put the lasting card, the blue card, at the bottom of the deck, and we'll start setting up the game. So the player at the bottom of the screen will now lay out one of the character cards in one of the mission tracks of their choice. In this case, the Imperial or Crimson Knight. And the opposing player will also lay out a character that's best suited to match that opponent. Questing Quaylar. And opposite we actually have the Kandar Scout, the Wolf Druidess, countered by the Cobra Sorceress, and finally the Tyra Wild Elf Warrior, countered by a City of Kernor Assassin. Now player 1 is drawing their hand of cards. Normally a hand of cards comprises 6 cards. Okay, so 6 cards. Just as this for the first draw, to see if the player has any mission cards. You need at least 2 mission cards to start the game. These are the gold cards, so in that case it's a valid hand. And then you deploy in turns the mission cards in the tracks that best suit your character to win that mission card. And you'll be looking at the 3 statistics on the character cards, red being might, green being mind, and blue being mysticism. I'll be explaining how you go about winning the missions. So here's this player 2's draw as well. So a valid hand with at least 2 mission cards. So they are now going to deploy a mission card in the track that best suits their character, and hopefully least suits the opponent. And the same again for player 1. They now need to put their second mission card down. Okay. And the same again for player 2. As you can imagine, this setup phase, once people know how to play the game, is a lot quicker than this, and obviously with physical cards is a lot less clunky than doing this as you see here. And now player 1 is drawing their hand size of 5 cards. As they're only allowed 5 cards, as per the Crimson Knight. And they're adding a lasting card, so each game turn you draw your cards. You can then put down a blue lasting card, 1 per turn, and then play either an action card in green or attempt a mission. And that action card enabled me to draw 2 more cards to my deck. So another mission card and another action card. And I have my full hand size again of 5 cards. Player 2 now is going to start the game, but they get to draw the full hand size of 6 cards, which is the default hand size. And they're drawing a lot of mission cards here, so don't know how well they shuffled them. In these 2 decks, these starter decks, we see here there are roughly 20 mission cards, 20 lasting cards, and 20 action cards per deck. Having a good look at this, so time spent reading, not fighting, and you get to read what the special attributes of that are and what modifiers that adds to the character in the what we call the stat block of that character. So you basically create a column of cards to then strengthen the character in various attributes and maybe activate certain powers, certain effects. Looking at the Darvan Warrior here, he's got 2 in might, so physical strength, and he's competing for a card, Hunt Down a Dark Wolf, so needs a +4 win. So basically I need to win by 4 points over the opponent's stat, in this case might, and the Darvan would need some serious support to be able to beat the knight on that specific mission. So player 2 now is playing, they're putting down, looking at putting down a lasting card. Attached character draws 1 card at the end of the draw phase. That's being attached to the Wild Elf. And with this I can draw up to my hand size if I want to play this card now in the action phase. So I'm playing that card, it goes into my discard pile. And I'm going to draw 2 more cards. Yet another mission card and a lasting card. This adds +2 to my mysticism in blue. So player 2 draws up to 6 cards. They have to draw their full 6 card hand. And they get the magic grenade, which they're going to deploy with the Cobra Sorceress. So we saw the Darvan gains +1 in might while any lasting cards are attached. There aren't any lasting cards attached yet, but if I was to, they would gain modifiers. I'm now stacking cards in my hand, and we call this played as a modifier, or PAM, where you basically look at the top right hand corner of any of the cards, mission or lasting or action, and you don't actually count you don't look at the powers of that card, you just play them as a bonus, a one-off, to strengthen the character in play, trying to attempt a mission. So as the Crimson Knight player 1, they're seeing now that the Darvan Dwarf opposite has 3 cards stacked against might, in this case to win that might challenge on that card, the mission card. And they are now stacking up their played as modifier bonuses. So once again, top right hand corner, you discard, you don't consider anything else. Top right hand corner of the card, and you total those up. Of course, each of those cards ranges on normally from 1 to 3 as a value. So putting 2 cards down could be anything between 2 and 6 points added to the Crimson Knight, who's currently defending. So now we flip. At the end of the turn, we now flip the cards. We total them up. And we see +1 point there, +2 in top right hand corner, that's 3 points, +1, 4 points, plus the Darvan, another 2 points, there's 6 points. And to beat the knight by 4 points. So you add 4 points to 3 of the knight, and we're going to flip these over now. And we basically compare the different stacks and then discard the cards and see who's won the challenge. And discarding the cards I use. They're a one-off. You actually burn through your deck quite quickly that way, but and as I was attacking, I was going for the mission. I didn't succeed. The defender has an advantage there that your character ends up being injured, so you flip it over to the injured side where their stats are weakened. There may be other powers that kick in the description box. And now player one's drawing their full hand size of 5 cards. There's another mission card there, another action card, and now I can play. It's the lasting phase, so I can play one of the blue cards, 1 card per turn unless otherwise stated. And I'm now going to add the Imperial Mystic Brooch with a +2 to Mysticism to the Druidess. Gives her 4, so a strong score in Mysticism. Action phase, I can either play a green card, or I can attempt a mission. It's either or. You either play a green card, or your action is actually attempting the mission. Now the Darvan Dwarf is weakened at the moment, so it could be a good time to try that, and I'm now going to stack these up. Obviously we're playing open hands here to demonstrate the game, but of course these would be hidden, so there'd be no visibility for player 2 to know what's been stacked up. So 3 cards there, anything between 3 and 9 points of value on average. And looking here, I can add those 4 points to the Darvan as I'm defending, but what am I going to stack up? I've got +3 there, +2 there, +3 and +2, +3 in the right hand corner of this card. So I just decide, is it worth even defending in that case to burn through 2 cards in my weakened state? That's really a decision I need to make, or just let the card go. In this case, player 2 lets the card go and lets the Imperial Knight win 3 points of victory in the bottom right hand corner. That's 3 points of victory against the 29 they need to achieve to win the game. I'm now going to burn that card. And I have to immediately replace any mission card with a new mission card out of my hand. I'm now going to draw my full 6 card hand. Okay, action card, the Zombie Pit, the Guardian, a few other lasting cards. And it's the lasting phase. So if you have any lasting cards, i.e. the blue cards, I can deploy them. I do that immediately. And I add the Guardian at +2 might to the Sorceress, who does need a bit of strengthening there. Just rearranging my cards there as player 2. Zombie Pit, I can play that on a track, and it will actually sit on the track until a conflict takes place. It's one of those action cards that last a few turns. So if the knight wants to reattempt, we've actually forgot to discard our cards there, so we're just cleaning that up, player 1 is. Then they can try and do that, but I get support from the Zombie Pit card. So Secret Stash, I need +3. I need to beat the knight by 3 points in Mysticism. It's a magically hidden secret stash. I'm now going to stack a few cards against this mission to try and see if my Darvan Dwarf can achieve that, bearing in mind the player 1 with the knight only has 1 card left, so they can't really do much to counter it at the moment, as it's my phase of play, my turn. So it could be the moment to basically strike the knight. They got +2 if they want to play that as a modifier. 3 in might. So I need 3 in might, but this is Mysticism, so Is it worth putting a card at 2 down? Let's see. No, we decide to let it go and just total up +2, +3, 5. You have to use those 2 cards just to try and secure that. And we've used that as well as a one-off use, the zombie pit. It's like a trap. And basically now player 2 can claim the mission card. And earns 3, in the bottom right corner, 3 victory points of a total of 23 they need. And the secret stash actually enabled me to draw extra cards, hence why we're activating that